All right, good evening. Just did a little bit of back work. I'm going to show you a couple exercises, some things that I do for back that you can do in your basement, in your garage, wherever you have, if you have any equipment. You don't really need a lot of fancy stuff. If you have, I don't know, you can take this and correlate it, make it apply to whatever you're using. You know what I'm saying? You can do a version of this just to, all right, so all you really need is a bench that will incline. It doesn't have to be an expensive piece of equipment. It can be a very inexpensive piece of equipment like I'm using. A bench that will incline so that you can put your chest against it, rest your arm against it, right? And then you can do, with your pulley system, you can do bilateral pulley rows. Low, you can do them low, pulling upwards on an angle. If you have your bench, I'll put a couple pictures in here, or a clip or something. I don't know what these clips look like. I just took them down here and I just did it all. I just let the camera run. I haven't turned it on and off. I just came down here, worked out, and let it run. So I apologize if these aren't very clear and they're not good shots or angles, but you get the idea, and that's all it's about. I'm not trying to make some kind of glossy, fancy-ass, big production Steven Spielberg presentation or some shit. Just trying to relay a fucking point, just to share an idea, and likewise, if you have ideas, man, share them with me, but some shit you can do at home. So I put the bench on an incline, and you can play around and get the incline suit you best. You turn around and sit backwards on that bench so that your chest is facing the pad. And you can put your elbow on the pad, your forearm on the pad, your hand on the pad, or you can put your chest on the pad, whatever you want to do to get cozy. Get the angle you want, and then you can do low pulley rows. You can do bilateral, do one side at a time, low or unilateral, whatever you want to call it, pulley rows like that on whatever kind of machine you have. You can vary. I would definitely recommend move the pulley around, right? Like I will do, unless I find a position that is just super hitting it, like tonight, literally, and it might not look like a whole lot, but it was cramping my lats. Now, it's not the first thing I did. My lats, both sides are cramping up from it. And I'm doing 15 reps. I'm doing not heavy weight really at all. It really doesn't have to be that heavy because these pulleys are not that smooth. I need to do some work on this joint, but it gets the job done. So first I started off with a whole bunch of lat pull downs. And again, I've come to start doing them standing up more than sitting down. Been doing that for the past couple of years now. I like to stand up and do my lat pull downs because I can vary how close I get to the machine so I can get an angle that I want. Yeah, I used to love getting straight up under it, pulling straight down, but now, I don't know, for whatever reason, I did it that way for years and years and years, but now I've, like I said, past few years, 3 years or so, I've started standing up and just doing them. Do all my lat pull downs standing up now. And I can lean back and pull, you know what I'm saying? I can move closer, move further away, whatever have you. So I did a lot of lat pull downs. Now tonight, this is just like an overall, hitting various things. Then I went over and did barbell bent over rows. Once I got some semi warmed up, I did some barbell bent over rows with free weights. And then I did my usual deadlift and shrug thing, but I didn't go really heavy. And then some of the last shit I did was go over on this cable crossover that I have over here, just use one pulley on one side. And like I said, it's not the sturdiest thing in the world. It's not a really expensive piece of equipment at all. It's all used stuff that I found off of, Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or wherever I could find it. And, I will move that pulley up and down. And even in a gym, fully equipped gym, I like to get that pulley and I like to move it up and down. Now, I will take 2 single handles, okay? Now, I've got, like V-bars, right? I have, well, let me show you what I got. Okay, so I've got this gadget here, which is pretty expensive, real nice, right? See how that works? Swivels around and all. So I can put this, hook this to a cable, and I can do what I want with it that way or whatever. But I don't like being locked into this groove. I like that this pivots and all that, and this is great for some things. But I would rather use this for pull downs and even triceps. It's awesome for triceps. For triceps because of this swivel here, because how these swivel independently like this and all. It's awesome for triceps. So I'll do that kind of shit with this more so than seated rows. What I will tend to use, if I'm going to use both hands, two hands, I'll take two of these, like this, right? And I'll put them together here. I'll clip them like this. And what that does is it gives me this flexibility. So that when I'm pulling, I can actually spread my hands apart as I'm pulling back. I can spread, and it is just enough. It gives me just enough. Just enough to pull where I want to. And so it allows me to variably pull it and spread my hands as I'm pulling. It's more of a natural movement because my shoulders are pulled all the way around and I'm pull back like this. And even doing traps, right? Like after I've done my heavier trap work with either barbell or dumbbells, then when I come over here and finish off traps and burn them in really good, I will do some sets in the end like that, just high rep, burn the shit out of those traps. I'll use two of these. And then it's down low like this, but now my traps are stretched all the way around. And then when I pull back, I'm getting that, I can pull with this. I have enough room to spread my hands some to pull. I like it. I think I get a more complete range of motion that way. And when I'm doing seated rows, and again, I'll use my bench or whatever have you to sit on, I'll use these. I would rather use these so I'm not locked into any kind of a V handle or anything. I don't like that. I would rather have this flexibility, So just some ideas, some shit you can do training back, just some ideas. And I divide my back workouts up, I don't do the same back workout, week after week. And I will have sometimes I'll do back twice a week. I'll have one night where when I come down here to do back, all I'm focusing on is width. And then I'll have another night where all I'm focusing on are traps. And I'll hit them from every conceivable angle. I like to use dumbbells when I can, and again, I'll use that bench, turn that bench around, that incline bench, and turn around backwards on it so I'm facing against the pad. And I will do shrugs like that with dumbbells. And that gives me, again, that way it gives me the same thing this gives me on the pulley. It lets me stretch those traps all the way around, stretch my upper back all the way around, and pull back and squeeze, and I'm leaning over. So, it's a different thing than this. It's a different thing. It's a whole different thing. It feels completely different. The pump is completely different. So I'll do all kind of combinations of stuff like that for traps. And I'll walk that pulley up and down. Up and down. If you have an adjustable pulley, you can adjust the height of the pulley. I'll go a set one way, and then I'll drop it down one, and do another set, drop it down one, do another set, drop it down one, do another set. And I'll move that thing all over the place so that I can get specifically exactly what I want. And when I split my back up like that, if I come down here twice in a week and I'm doing traps primarily one night, lots and lots of trap work, and I'm doing width primarily another night, both nights I'm doing some density and thickness stuff because there's a lot of overlap there. So both nights I'm doing density and thickness stuff, and both nights my rear delts are getting plenty of work. So I really don't do any specific isolated rear delt work per se. I don't specifically do anything that is just would be considered a rear delt exercise because there's no need to. I've got really good rear delts. They're capped, they're round, they project back off my shoulder, and good. And that's from all the heavy pulling I do. Anyway, just some ideas, just some thoughts. I like to train home. I like training in the basement. Yeah. You do you, I'll do me. Take care, have an awesome night.